And
Why did we wait so long to get to this movie?
I don't know.
Can voodoo, Nazis, and rampaging puppets be a movie?
Apparently.
Are the puppets the bad guys?
I don't know.
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Story Time is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig. And this week we're starting, hopefully, a series of 4. We only have
Not
2
100%
planned.
sure, yeah.
But we were like, we've missed a couple of big franchises. And
Big
the
is in
fact we've-
quantity.
Yeah, well, not just that, like,
I mean,
popular in the horror
I
genre.
own 9 of these.
Right, and had
And
never
there's
seen
more.
it. And had never seen it. Like,
We had started it a while back, and I guess I just wasn't in the mood or I was tired or something because
don't
I
know.
hadn't seen the whole thing.
but the point is, we found a couple of big ones, and we're hoping to find 4 franchises in horror that we just hadn't touched on yet.
Yeah.
Since, 2013? So it's like next year it'll be 10 years we've done this show. And the idea that we've done it bi-weekly at first, but then we moved it up to weekly after a few years, and we still hadn't touched on Puppet Master.
It feels a little weird.
Yeah. So we decided we're going to get into a couple of the ones that we just hadn't done.
Yeah.
There's a few that we had just done the first one, but
But that's still touching
these are ones
the
we
franchise,
hadn't done.
Right.
Exactly. So Puppet Master, for those who don't know, there's a man who invents puppets, creates puppets that do his will, his bidding. They are violent puppets, but there's a lot of argument to be made that
Maybe they're
not really bad guys. In this, they kill people that are innocent, but it's kind of because they were being controlled by a evil psychic.
Right.
But I don't want to get into the spoiler alert, but it doesn't go well for the person trying to control them.
If you haven't seen this,
1989
30-something-year-old movie.
Good point. But so basically it's about these puppets, and they're killing, and they're being controlled, and when they realize they're being controlled to kill people that aren't necessarily bad, they aren't happy about that.
They changed their tune a little.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the innocent people that they had killed, it was a little late.
I mean, they are just as dismembered.
Yeah.
But
anyway, that's basically the premise. We only found one trailer, and it had something naughty in it. So check out the high-quality editing work of Colin, our producer for the show.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wanted to keep this, TV appropriate. So why don't we roll that trailer, and you can see his hard work.
In a house of mysteries.
This hotel seems to have quite a history, Mrs. Gallagher.
Who are you people?
A research team with special powers.
My God.
She's experiencing the past.
Because we are all joined by our thoughts.
Has uncovered an ancient secret.
I have something I want to show you.
Metaphysically speaking, I killed myself.
But they are playing with an evil force.
What would you do with the power?
You can't save her, Alex.
They have given life to a deadly power.
We're all in danger.
And now a box of little toys
I think someone's in the room, Frank.
has become a gang of little terrors. Pinhead, Blade, Ms. Leach, Jester, and Tunneler. Irene Miracle, Paul Lamont, Barbara Crampton, and William Hickey as the Puppet Master.
All right. You'll
They
notice
put a lot of...
there was supposed to be a boob, but there was a blur, or as I like to call it, a blurb. Anyway, there was a blurb.
They
No,
put a lot of emphasis on that Puppet Master guy.
they did, considering.
It was all a lie.
Well, don't worry about that right this second. You don't have to give away everything for the two people that are watching this and didn't see the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was. Is there anything else you have to say about it?
I mean, watch it.
When I don't know anyone specifically that might remember this. Hopefully you do if you've watched this show for a while. When we reviewed, what was the one with Art the Clown there? The Terrifier,
Terrifier.
the first one. We said it was the perfect 80s movie just made recently.
Yes.
This acting and these special effects are the 80s movie tropes we are referring to.
Yes.
This level of acting that's not great, this is what Terrifier did perfectly.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's what this was trying to be.
Well, this wasn't trying
No,
to
this
be
was
bad.
trying to just be a straight
Right.
up good movie.
But this
and-
is the type of thing that was the perfect emulation of.
Yeah. Because a lot of these were going around in the 80s and
Oh,
90s.
yeah. I mean, Full Moon as a company is basically...
They did all of them.
They did a lot of straight-to-video stuff, and this
Like
was one of them.
400 of the movies that
I mean,
we're talking
we've
about
done
were them.
We've done the Evil Bong, and we've done Ginger Dead Man, and that was that. Anyway, back to this. Is there anything else we should really say? I mean psychics come and are being killed by the puppets.
Because of a psychic.
Yeah, controlling the puppets against their will.
Yes.
And then the puppets get mad when they realize that they're killing good people and fix that. Yeah, so that's about it. All right. Now, before we get into the behind the scenes information, I want to give a shout out to our real sponsors that actually exist. These are real products that you can purchase and things you can do and places you can go, and that we are making tons of cash.
We are.
You can tell by the fact that we wear the same shirts week after week most of the time. Actually, he's got a new shirt.
Actually, no, I wore this shirt last week.
See? Because we're making so much money, we're just... no, actually, he hasn't changed his shirt yet, that's all.
It's just kind of stuck.
It's stuck to the grime. No, the way that we make all this money is by providing, ad space in our show for these actual things. This week, Gory Story Time is brought to you by We Already Apologized. Can we get past this? The official book from the government of Germany to the world. In We Already Apologized, Can We Get Past This? The Germans admit to everything they've done wrong, every vile thing they've committed, and then ask us to please drop it. From starting both world wars to making David Hasselhoff think he can sing, Deutschland lays it all out, admits it, apologizes, and seeks to end the hate it now receives. We Already Apologized. Can we get past this? Look for it today. Drop it tomorrow.
And by Psychic Psychos, the new sitcom from the creators of Twin Sanity. Psychic Psychos is about a group of friends who all have psychic powers and use it to commit violence and mayhem without being caught. They always know if they will get away with it, and only continue if they do. Psychic Psychos. We know you will watch, or else. Mwahaha.
All right. Now let's get into the meat and beef of this,
Or as I like to call it, the meat and beef of the show.
yes, the behind-the-scenes factoids. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to?
I can go first.
All right.
Pinhead's fists during the punching scenes are actually the fists of dwarf stunt woman Cindy Sorensen, who had to wear the same fingerless gloves and sweater sleeve to make it appear as if it's the fist of Pinhead.
Leech Woman's mouth is made of foam latex. Whenever Leech Woman coughs up a leech, only 3/4 of the leech mechanism comes out of the puppet, and then a simple camera cut creates the illusion that an entire leech came out of Leech Woman's mouth.
The Bodega Bay Hotel was a miniature which was built about the size of a refrigerator. When the filmmakers found a perfect location, they hung the model in the air and used combinations of force perspective in the way to make the hotel appear as if it was actually here or there.
Or everywhere. The Blade puppet required 5 puppeteers to operate.
Creator Charles Band had another production about killer toys called Dolls.
Yep. The Asian puppet at the beginning of the movie that's looking out of Andre Toulon's window is actually a real Burmese opera marionette called Zoggy, or Zogwy? I don't know. The Alchemist Magician.
The puppet Blade is based on one of David Schmoller's favorite actors, Klaus Kinski.
Originally intended to be released in theaters in the summer of '89 and onto home video by September of '89, it was pushed till October 12th, 1989 as a direct-to-video release. Producer Charles Band stated in an interview he would make more money in the direct-to-video field than he would in the theatrical market.
Okay. One of the early puppets that Charles Band pictured was a 6-armed ninja with guns. This puppet didn't make it to the movie, but it was the inspiration for the puppet 6-shooter that makes his debut in 3.
In the third one. Creator Charles Band was going to remake the original film in 2010. The idea was scrapped due to negative backlash and instead made Puppet Master Axis of Evil.
Much of the soundtrack for this film consists of the synthesizer arrangements of Pino Donaggio's music for Tourist Trap, a film with similar themes in which director David Smoller and producer Charles Band had worked previously.
In 1999, David Schmoller said the reason he was not involved with the rest of the series was that it would prove that someone else besides Full Moon CEO Charles Band was responsible for creating their biggest franchise. He wasn't even approached to do a director's commentary for the DVD. He also mentioned that Band still owes him residuals.
Blade is the only character whose suit does not change from film to film.
In 2020, Blade starred in a solo spin-off film, Blade the Iron Cross, making him the first puppet to get a solo movie.
Cool. Charles Band says he came up with the title Puppet Master from his early days working with Empire Pictures. He worked on a movie called The Dungeon Master, and he had many fans saying they loved that title. He's always been fascinated with dolls coming to life, and when he wanted to make a movie about living puppets, he decided to call it Puppet Master.
William Hickey was Paul LeMat's acting teacher. They both reunited on the set of this movie.
Blade is the only puppet to have appeared on all the VHS/DVD and Blu-ray covers of the Puppet Master movies.
Blade's vocal effects were done by Burt Rosario.
Despite not having lungs, the puppet Blade breathes heavily and sounds out of breath while running at the beginning of the film. Furthermore, throughout the film, the other puppets can be heard panting, grunting, and moaning, and yet none of them can actually speak.
But you can be out of breath without speaking.
Despite not having lungs, the puppet Blade breathes would have been enough.
Well, breathes heavily, like out of breath. It's kind of like anytime Superman, who can lift anything,
grunts.
He'll
before
lift
he
a
lifts
car,
something.
and he's like, and it's like, really, Superman, like with his pinky, he could do this and just be like, but he's right. Andre offs himself with a nickel-plated Smith & Wesson 44 double-action revolver.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not so much, but like also maybe.
And now the Rotten Tomatoes scores. As we've explained, Rotten Tomatoes just tells you the percentage of people who have something positive, or who give a positive review to a movie. The people also get to vote. What do the critics have their number at?
43% of critics liked this movie.
And only 40% of fans, and that's rare that they're so close.
Yes.
I will say there was a whole subgenre of horror in the 80s and 90s of straight to video.
Yeah.
They were never as big as the ones in theaters because they didn't have the budget to. But this is probably one of the bigger franchises
That made it
to come
that way.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still making them in the 2020s.
That's ridiculous.
Like the first solo film was in 2020, like 3
It's
years
ridiculous.
ago. Well, I mean, if people want more and they give them more, which
Like Dead Horse much?
it seems like more people liked it than go on and vote on
100,000
Rotten
people
Tomatoes.
voted.
I don't know how many people.
No, I mean,
Right, but I'm saying I don't know. Like, obviously, they made their money or they wouldn't keep making them
100,000 people watched it. So,
at the very minimum.
right.
But that's not great necessarily for straight to video.
Be a lot worse if it was in the theater.
Well, no, because then they would have still got the straight to video market or the video market after, and they would have had. Because maybe more people would have went if it was in the theater. They would have assumed it to be better quality, but maybe someone viewed it ahead of time and said, maybe not the theater.
Maybe not the theater.
Anywho, so I said the people have it at 40%.
Yes.
Or I hadn't said, but
Right.
so 43 and 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, which are we doing first? Are we doing our least favorite or our favorite? Because I think we might not have the same actual opinion on this.
Whichever you'd like to go first.
Well,
It really doesn't.
It felt
Make a
like
whole
I was
lot of a
enjoying it more
difference.
than you.
Well, that is almost guaranteed.
All right. Are you in at least to watch a second one?
Like,
and see
I'll
where they
watch
go?
a second one because I'm
Curious what they do?
curious to see what people would still want
Okay.
30 years later.
Right. I mean, you have 9, so like we could do it. But anyway, all right. Let's do our least favorite thing. I'll start because I think we're going to jump in on the same thing.
Yeah.
The camera angle when you're supposed to be the doll was like that far off the floor. The dolls
Were
like
these
this.
guys?
No, they were like this tall. They were probably half the size
Pinhead
of that.
was probably that
They-
size, though.
No, they were probably about a foot tall.
Pinhead was huge.
No, well, he was wider.
Okay.
But he was about a foot tall. I'm assuming. Maybe
Either way,
so like half of this Chucky.
we were watching from floor level for like 60% of this movie.
And it would be big, wide open floors. And they'd run up to someone.
Rooms full of
That
people.
and like nobody would see these things running around because
Foot-tall
apparently they were
maniacs.
only here. Like
Like,
the angle that was supposed to be the doll's point of view was always lower than would have made
at least
sense.
Chucky would like run and then hide behind something.
But they also didn't have his eyeballs down in his shoes.
Oh no, no, they didn't. They didn't do that.
And this kind of did.
This did that. This did that a bunch.
Yes, there was no one working on, having the view match
Yeah.
the dolls.
So there was jumping in on also that, but a very specific situation that was just visually jarring for me was Blade has a hook for his hand, one of his hands, And in one shot,
And a knife for the other.
yes, in a shot where he's dragging a chair to something so he can go like climb onto the chair and open the door, right? It shows him grab onto the chair above, like here, right? And then it shows from another angle, and he's down here, and it keeps going back and forth
Yeah,
between
he
where
complained
he's
about
holding
this
it.
at the time.
I'm like,
But if they can't decide where his eye level is, you think they're going to care about left and right hand?
no, not left and
Or
right hand.
where the
his hand is.
Sure.
Left and right hand would be even worse.
That's true. Good point.
If his blades were
But
changing arms,
to be fair, that leads me into my favorite thing. Blade's eyes
oh my goodness, I
have knives coming out of them because
or are they knives?
they are.
No, are his eyes knives? Instead of having eyes, are they
No, like
knives?
he'll be like this and then they'll come out.
I mean, I'm assuming his eyes are in his feet.
Well, when he's mad, his eyes it'll show knives poking out of the black, and it's kind of cool.
And he never does anything with them.
Yeah, he's like, if they shoot out, I'm mad. Or if he slams his head into someone's leg and stabs them with his eyes, and I'm like, yeah, that would be dumb. And they didn't, to be fair.
Okay,
You're
but
sitting there
then,
mad
like-
at the movie for a thing that you made up might happen.
But at least
You
they would
did.
have done something with them.
Well,
If it's just like,
I don't know.
grrr.
If something's trying to kill you, and all of a sudden it's staring at you and blades come out of its eyes and it doesn't scream and fall down in pain, that's intimidating.
I mean, it's a puppet. I don't
that's
expect it to scream in pain. Not that I expect it to like stand up and run after
if
me. But
anything has
crawl.
knives come out of its eyes at me, and it's okay with this.
well,
Like, say what you want, dude. Like, that's freaking me out.
all right, sure.
What's your favorite thing?
The Nazis died,
They did.
so I suppose
Well,
offhandedly
We
we
didn't
heard
see
that
it.
the Nazis died.
Yeah.
So
there was some
Yeah.
Nazis that were after the puppeteer,
so
and he took
guess
himself
that.
out and hid them. And I think some of the sequels get into what happened to them. 'Cause
I guess
I mean, Iron Cross and Reich and stuff are names of
Axis of Evil.
like they definitely touch on things.
So I suppose knowing that Nazis might have died at their hands was the best part of this
Yeah,
movie.
because I mean, we do watch them kill people that don't deserve it for the most part in this movie.
I mean, there was just like a guy trying to get busy with his wife on some downtime, and they showed up and were like,
They were-
die.
But they were being controlled by another psychic.
pooey.
But anyway, all right. On a scale of 1 to 10, here's where we're going to diverge, I think.
Probably.
I will go first because
Yes.
think of your number. Be honest. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have to match. Like,
Oh, we won't.
a lot of times we do, but once in a while, I'm going to go with a 6. It was straight to video.
Okay.
It wasn't the best, but there's enough intriguing bits that as long as they progress and get better, which is possible
as long
in
as
this
there's
situation.
more of what little good there was.
Right. And I'm assuming if they had 9, it doesn't always mean this. I'm assuming that the fans are like, okay, it's getting better. I don't know. I've never really dove into. I've seen this movie once before, and I was young, and I think we started it once and didn't get very far. So I don't know how it progresses. I never was into this fandom, but I'm willing to give it a chance for, like, if the next one gets a little better, it's like, okay, then maybe we'll end up going through them. I've heard good things about the Solo movie.
I did too, actually.
So, like, it seems like they took the idea and expanded it into a better thing. But you know, I'm also very
I mean,
ADD
like,
and
okay,
needed
so
to
like,
do this first.
this is no Dolly Dearest.
So what would you?
All right. A 5?
Okay, you're not as far off.
Like-
I bet you were surprised I went as low as I did with 6.
I was like, oh, a 6? Well, then we are almost matching. Like,
But I give it it's
Like-
worth watching.
it's better than the 4 that the critics and people gave it.
Yeah,
But
basically.
it's not
if,
a 7.
If 5 is it's worth watching, but not great. I have it a little bit better than that. It's worth watching, and it's not bad.
Right.
But it's not. I'm still not great. But okay. So
it's
6
got
for me, 5
just
for you.
enough that I will watch 2.
And depending on how that
And if
goes.
2 is better, I might watch 3.
And then he might be just sucked in at that point.
And I've
if
got
it
9 of
works.
them. So,
Right.
like, it could go very far.
That doesn't mean we're going to do 9 episodes of this in a row because next week we have another plan. But why don't we throw it to the stuff on the side before we overdo the show?
So you can go to Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. and watch our blurry booby.
You can like us on Facebook, and like I say every week, by us I mean not only Gory Story Time, which we got like 1,200 something followers.
Keep it up.
Also Fact TV.
You can go to factedit.com and watch a bunch of back episodes of this, as well as a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Just a lot, honestly. Go to the website. There's just so much.
Yep. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Firm Brain. I tweet things that he says that I find funny in or out of context, usually out of context, whatever makes it funnier to me.
Absolutely. And also type in Gory Story Time on YouTube, and it'll come up with my page and Fact TV's page. Like, subscribe, smash the notification on both. That'd be great.
And lastly, just so that it maybe a little bit of crowd participation, all right? So the next one that we plan on doing is Phantasm.
Correct.
Okay?
So
we only have this and Phantasm currently.
So if you can come up with some other ones that you know we haven't touched on over the years that are franchises, please
comment down below, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have an idea, let us know.
And separately, we want to, in the future, coming up, we're looking for someone to play his mother. He's going to have a non-identical twin brother in a serial killer sitcom. And we just need a mom who doesn't know they're serial killers to play the mom that comes to live with them and causes havoc in their lives.
Yes. Looking for almost a Martha Kent type.
Yeah. Sweet, maybe a little
possibly
overbearing.
Old lady.
Like a little overbearing, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, until next week.
Until next week, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig. And
sweet dreams.